A 20-year-old girl fed a billionaire's blind daughter and changed her life forever. But she didn't know the father was secretly watching everything from his car. Also, someone in his house was already planning to destroy her. When she lost everything and ended up homeless under a bridge, the billionaire finally stepped out of the shadows. What he did next will leave you speechless. Hello friends, welcome to today's story. I'm so glad you're here. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps us keep bringing these stories to life. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to see our community from all around the world. The sun was not yet up when Cynthia opened her eyes. She lay on the thin mat in the corner of the small room she shared with her brother. The roof leaked when it rained, but it was home. She sat up slowly, careful not to wake Smith. He was sleeping on the only mattress they had. His breathing was rough and loud. The asthma was getting worse. Cynthia stood and looked at him. He was only 12 years old, but sickness had made him look smaller and weaker. She touched his forehead. Still warm. "I will get your medicine today," she whispered. "I promise." She walked to the corner where she kept her things. A small bag of plantains, a bottle of oil, salt, and a box of matches. This was her business. This was how they survived. She lit the stove and began to fry the plantains. The smell filled the room. Her stomach made a noise. She was hungry, but there were only 10 plantains left. If she ate one, that was one less to sell. One less chance to buy Smith's medicine. So she did not eat. When the plantains were ready, she packed them into her tray and counted them twice. 10 pieces. If she sold them all, she would make enough for the medicine. Maybe. If people were kind today. She looked at Smith one more time. He was still sleeping. She wrote him a note on a piece of paper. "Gone to work. Eat the bread on the table. I love you." Then she left. The walk to her spot under the bridge took 30 minutes. Her arms hurt from carrying the tray on her head, but she did not stop. She could not stop. When she reached the bridge, the sun was just coming up. The road was already busy. Cars, motorcycles, people rushing to work. No one looked at her. She set her tray down and stood by the roadside. "Plantain, sweet plantain," she called out. Her voice was strong even though her body was tired. A few people walked past. They did not stop. A woman in a big car looked at her, then looked away. A man in a suit waved her off like she was a fly. But Cynthia kept calling. "Plantain, sweet plantain." Finally, a young man on a motorcycle stopped. He bought 2 pieces. He paid her, but he did not smile. He just took the plantains and left. 2 down, 8 to go. By noon, she had sold 6 plantains. The sun was hot. Sweat ran down her face. Her throat was dry. But she kept standing and kept calling. Then she saw them. 3 children. Dirty clothes, no shoes. They stood near the roadside, watching her. Their eyes were on the plantains. Cynthia knew that look. She had worn it herself many times. It was the look of hunger. She looked at her tray. 4 plantains left. If she sold them all, she would have just enough for Smith's medicine. But these children had nothing. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Then she called them over. "Come here," she said softly. The children ran to her. Their faces were full of hope. She gave each of them 1 plantain. They did not wait. They ate fast, like they had not eaten in days. "Thank you, sister," the smallest one said. His mouth was full, but his eyes were smiling. Cynthia smiled back. "Go well," she said. Now she had only 1 plantain left. It would not be enough for the medicine, but those children had eaten. And somehow, that made her feel less empty. She sat down under the bridge, placed her tray beside her, and waited. Maybe someone else would come. She did not know that her life was about to change. Far away from the noise of the streets she knew, another world was waking up. Jaime Rodriguez woke up in a bed big enough for 5 people. The room was cold. The air conditioner was always on. The curtains were thick and blocked out the sun. He liked it that way. He sat up and checked his phone. 23 messages. 15 missed calls. All business. Always business. He got out of bed and walked to the bathroom. The mirror showed a man who looked tired. A man who looked older than his 42 years. But he did not care. He splashed water on his face, got dressed, and went downstairs. The mansion was huge. A living room filled with furniture no one ever sat on. Everything perfect. He walked through the hallway and saw her door. Lucy Rodriguez's room. He stopped. His hand almost touched the handle. Almost. But then his phone rang. He answered it and walked away. Inside the room, Lucy Rodriguez was awake. She had been awake for an hour, lying in bed, listening. She heard her father's footsteps in the hallway. She heard him stop outside her door. She waited. Maybe today he would come in and say good morning, or he would hold her hand like he used to. But the footsteps walked away. Lucy sat up and touched the wall beside her bed. She counted the cracks with her fingers. 1, 2, 3. She had counted them so many times she knew them all. She stood up carefully and walked to the window. She could not see the sun, but she could feel its warmth on her face. She could hear the gate opening and closing as the workers came in. But she could not hear her father's voice. He never spoke to her anymore. Not since the accident. Not since Mama died. A knock on the door made her turn around. "Come in," she said quietly. The door opened. It was Precious, the head nurse. Her voice was sharp and cold. "Time for breakfast," she said. "Let's go." Lucy Rodriguez did not move. "Is Papa downstairs?" "Your father is busy," Precious said. "He has meetings. Come. Your food is getting cold." Lucy's shoulders dropped. "Okay." Precious took her hand and led her out of the room. They walked down the stairs slowly. Lucy counted each step. 22 steps. She knew them all. In the dining room, Precious sat her down at the long table. A plate of food was in front of her. Everything she needed. But Lucy Rodriguez did not want to eat. "Eat," Precious said. "You need to be strong." "I am not hungry." "You have to eat." Lucy picked up the fork. She took one bite, then another. But the food had no taste. Nothing had taste anymore. Precious watched her for a moment, then left the room. "I will be back in 10 minutes, she said. When she was gone, Lucy put the fork down. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a piece of cloth. It was her mother's scarf. Old, torn, but it still smelled like her. She held it close to her face and closed her eyes. "Mama," she whispered. "Why did you leave me? Why does Papa not love me anymore?" No one answered. She sat there alone at the long table in the big empty house, holding the scarf, wishing someone would see her, wishing someone would care. Upstairs, in his office, Jaime Rodriguez sat at his desk. He stared at the papers in front of him, but he did not read them. He was thinking about her, about Lucy Rodriguez, about the little girl he used to carry on his shoulders, the little girl who used to laugh when he sang to her. He wanted to go to her. He wanted to hold her. But every time he looked at her face, he saw the accident. He saw his wife's body in the car. He saw the blood. He saw his failure. So he stayed away. It was easier to stay away. The black Mercedes stopped by the roadside near the bridge, smoke rising from under the hood as the driver rushed out and opened it, waving his hand through the heat and shaking his head. "Sir, the engine is too hot," he said. "We have to wait." In the back seat, Jaime Rodriguez didn't look up from his phone. "How long?" he asked, his voice tight with anger. "Maybe 30 minutes, sir." 30 minutes, he snapped, hitting the seat. "I have a meeting in 1 hour. Fix it now." "Sir, I cannot. The engine needs to cool down first." Jaime said nothing, just went back to his phone, typing fast, his face hard. Beside him, Lucy Rodriguez sat very still, hands in her lap, listening. She heard voices outside, people talking, laughing, and a woman calling out, "Plantain, sweet plantain." She turned her head toward the sound. The voice was kind, warm, nothing like the voices in her house. The driver walked away to find water for the engine. Jaime was on a call now, shouting about money and contracts. No one was watching Lucy. She reached for the door handle, found it, pushed. The door opened. She stepped out carefully. The ground felt different here, rough, uneven. But that voice was close, the plantain lady. Lucy walked toward the sound, hands reaching out, trying to feel her way. "Hello," she called softly. Cynthia was arranging her plantains when she heard the small voice. She looked up and saw a little girl standing a few feet away, alone, eyes open but unfocused, wearing expensive clothes, a pink dress, shiny shoes, yet her face looked lost. "Hello, little one," Cynthia said gently. "Are you okay?" "I heard your voice," Lucy said. "You sound nice." Cynthia's heart softened. She stood up and walked to her. "Where is your mother?" "My mother is dead," Lucy said. "It's just me and Papa, but Papa doesn't talk to me anymore." Cynthia knelt in front of her. "I'm sorry, that must be very hard." Lucy nodded. "Are you the plantain lady?" "Yes. Would you like one?" "I've never had plantain from the street before." "Then today is a special day," Cynthia said, taking her hand gently. "Come, sit with me." She led Lucy to her stand and helped her sit on the ground. She picked her best plantain, peeled it carefully, broke off a small piece. "Open your mouth." Lucy opened her mouth and Cynthia placed the piece inside. The girl chewed slowly, her face changing as she smiled. "It is so good. You want more?" "Yes, please." Cynthia kept feeding her, piece by piece, patient, gentle, telling her about the plantains, how she fried them, how she picked the best ones each morning. Lucy listened to everything, laughing, asking questions. "What is your name?" "Lucy." "That's a beautiful name. My own name is Cynthia." "Cynthia," Lucy repeated, reaching out and touching her face. "You are kind. I can feel it." Cynthia's eyes filled with tears. This little girl, so lonely, so hungry for love. She fed her another piece, then another. From the car, Jaime Rodriguez finally looked up from his phone. His heart stopped. His daughter was gone. "Lucy," he shouted, jumping out of the car, panic filling his chest. Then he saw her, sitting on the ground with a stranger, a poor girl in a faded dress, and that girl was feeding his daughter. He started to run toward them, ready to shout, ready to grab Lucy away. But he stopped, because he saw something that froze him. Lucy was smiling. She was laughing. She was holding the stranger's hand like she never wanted to let go. And that poor girl was feeding her so carefully, so gently, like Lucy was the most precious thing in the world. Jaime stood behind a parked truck, watching. He watched the girl wipe Lucy's mouth with the corner of her dress. He watched her describe the plantain to her, making the simple moment feel special. He watched Lucy lean into her, trusting her completely. His throat tightened. When was the last time he fed his daughter? When was the last time he sat with her like this? He couldn't remember. This stranger, this poor girl selling plantains on the street, was doing what he had failed to do for 3 years. She was loving his daughter. After a few minutes, the driver found Lucy and brought her back to the car. Jaime walked over slowly. "Papa," Lucy said brightly, "I met the nicest lady. She gave me plantains. They were so good." Jaime looked back at the girl under the bridge. She was watching them with a worried face, probably afraid she had done something wrong. He walked to her. "Sir, I'm sorry," Cynthia said quickly. "She came to me. I didn't take her. I was just—" "Thank you," Jaime said quietly. She blinked. "What?" "Thank you," he said again, "for feeding her, for being kind to her." Cynthia looked confused. She was hungry. It was just plantain. "It was more than that," Jaime said, his voice shaking slightly. He brought out some money and tried to give it to her. "No, sir," she said, shaking her head. "I don't want money. She is a sweet girl. It was my honor." Jaime stared at her, this girl who had nothing, yet still refused money. He didn't know what to say. He only nodded, turned, and walked back to the car. As the driver started the engine and they drove away, Jaime kept looking back. At the girl. At Cynthia. At the woman who had just shown him what a father should be. And something inside him cracked open. Jaime Rodriguez could not sleep that night. He lay in his big bed, staring at the ceiling, and every time he closed his eyes he saw it again, that girl feeding his daughter, the way Lucy Rodriguez smiled, the way she leaned into her, the way she trusted a complete stranger more than she trusted her own father. The shame felt like a knife in his chest. He sat up and looked at the clock, 2 in the morning. He got out of bed, walked down the hall, and stopped outside Lucy Rodriguez's door. His hand touched the handle. He wanted to go in, to sit beside her bed, to tell her he was sorry and that he loved her. But he could not move. What would he even say? How could he explain 3 years of silence, 3 years of walking past her door? He let go of the handle and walked away. The next morning, he called his driver. That place where the car broke down, take me there. The driver looked confused. Sir, just do it. When they reached the bridge, Jaime Rodriguez told him to park far away. He didn't want to be seen, he just wanted to watch. And there she was. Cynthia. She arrived early, carrying her tray on her head. She set it down carefully and began arranging her plantains. Her movements were slow and tired, yet she didn't stop. People walked past her, most didn't look. Some looked but didn't buy. One man argued with her about the price, trying to cheat her, but she stayed calm, smiling, patient. Jaime Rodriguez watched everything. He saw how hard she worked for every coin. He saw the way people treated her, like she was invisible, like she didn't matter. But she kept going. Then he saw something that made him lean forward. 3 children came to her stand. They had no money. He could tell by the way they stood silently, just looking. Cynthia watched them for a moment, then gave each of them a plantain, free. They ran off laughing, eating fast. She sat down again and counted her money, and her face showed the truth. It wasn't enough. Whatever she needed, she didn't have it. Yet she still gave. Jaime Rodriguez felt something in his chest, something he had not felt in years. Respect. This girl had nothing, yet she gave anyway. He had everything, yet he gave nothing. Not even to his own daughter. He came back the next day, and the day after that. Each time, he watched from a distance. He saw how kind she was to everyone. He saw how little she earned. He saw the tiredness in her face. But he also saw something else. Joy. Even when she struggled, even when people ignored her, even when she had barely anything to sell, she smiled. She talked to children passing by. She helped the old woman who sold oranges. She sang to herself as she worked. She had joy. Jaime Rodriguez could not remember the last time he felt joy. One evening, he followed her home, staying far back so she wouldn't see him. She walked through narrow streets, past broken buildings and piles of trash. She stopped at a small house with a rusted door and went inside. Jaime Rodriguez moved closer. Through the window, he saw her kneeling beside a mattress where a young boy was lying, coughing hard. She gave him water, touched his head, spoke softly. Then she stood up, walked to a corner of the room, and whispered to herself. She thought no one could see her. But Jaime was watching. He saw her shoulders shake. He saw her cover her face. He heard her voice, broken, tired. God, please. I have tried. I have tried so hard. But I don't know what else to do. Please help my brother. Please. She cried quietly, not wanting the boy to hear. Jaime Rodriguez stood outside in the dark, listening to her pain. And for the first time in 3 years, he felt something other than his own grief. He felt hers. This girl who fed his daughter, this girl who smiled even when she was breaking, this girl who had nothing but gave everything. She was teaching him something he had forgotten, how to care about someone other than himself. He walked back to his car slowly, mind racing. He wanted to help her, but how? Giving her money wouldn't change anything. No, he didn't just want to help her. He wanted to learn from her. He wanted to understand how someone with so little could have so much love. And he wanted his daughter to have what this girl gave her on that day under the bridge. He wanted Lucy Rodriguez to feel loved again. Lucy Rodriguez woke up thinking about her. The plantain lady, the one who fed her. She lay in bed, remembering the taste of the plantains. But more than that, she remembered the feeling of someone caring, making her feel less alone. At breakfast, Precious brought her food as usual, eggs, toast, orange juice. But Lucy didn't want any of it. Precious, she said quietly. Yes. Can we go back to the bridge today, please? Precious paused. The bridge? Why? I want to see the plantain lady again, the one who fed me. That woman. Precious's voice went sharp. Why do you want to see her? Because she was nice to me, Lucy said, her voice small but firm. She talked to me. She fed me. She made me feel special. Precious's jaw tightened. She didn't like this at all. But the girl kept asking. Fine, she said after a long silence, but only for a few minutes. Your father cannot know about this. Lucy's face lit up. Thank you. She could not see Precious's eyes turning cold. When they reached the bridge, Lucy heard the voice right away. Plantin, sweet Plantin. Her heart jumped. That's her, she said, pulling Precious's hand. Please, take me to her. Precious walked slowly, annoyed, but Lucy didn't let go of her hand. When they reached the stand, Cynthia looked up, and her tired face softened immediately. You came back, she said with surprise and joy. I wanted to see you again, Lucy said, smiling wide. I've been thinking about you every day. Cynthia looked at Precious. The woman's face was cold, but Cynthia nodded politely. Thank you for bringing her. Precious said nothing. Cynthia turned back to Lucy. Are you hungry? Yes, Lucy said. Can you feed me again, like before? Cynthia's heart melted. Of course, my dear. Come, sit with me. She helped Lucy sit on the ground beside her stand. She picked the best plantain, peeled it slowly, and broke off a piece. Open your mouth, she said gently. Lucy opened her mouth, and Cynthia placed the piece inside. The girl chewed with a peaceful face. It tastes even better today, Lucy said. You know why? Cynthia smiled. Because I'm happy you came back. Happy thoughts make everything taste better. Lucy laughed, a light, beautiful laugh. Cynthia fed her another piece, then another, taking her time, treating the moment like it mattered. Can you tell me a story? Lucy asked. What kind of story? Any story. I just like hearing your voice. So Cynthia talked, about the market, the woman who sold oranges and sang every morning, the man with the parrot who told jokes, the children who played by the river. Lucy listened to every word, asking questions, reaching out to touch Cynthia's face again, her fingers moving gently. I wish I could see you, she whispered. You don't need eyes to see me, Cynthia said softly. You can feel who I am. That is better than seeing. They sat there for almost an hour. Precious stood nearby, arms crossed, checking her watch again and again. But Lucy didn't want to leave. Finally, Precious said, We have to go. Now. Not yet, please, just a little longer. Now, Lucy. Cynthia stood up and reached into her pocket. She brought out a small bell, old, dented, but sweet-sounding. She placed it in Lucy's hand. Keep this, she said. When you ring it, think of me, and I will think of you. That way we are never really apart. Lucy held the bell close to her chest, tears rolling down her cheeks. I wish you were my big sister, she whispered. Cynthia's voice cracked. I wish that too, little one. Precious pulled Lucy away, but as they walked back to the car, Lucy kept ringing the bell softly. The sweet sound floated through the air. Far away, parked behind a bus, Jaime Rodriguez sat in his car. He had watched everything. He saw Cynthia feed his daughter, slowly, carefully, like each piece was a gift. He saw Lucy's face glowing, laughing, refusing to leave. He saw his daughter loved by a stranger who barely had anything for herself. And he finally saw what he had missed for 3 long years. Lucy didn't need expensive toys or a big house or fancy clothes. She needed what that girl had given her. Time, attention, love. Tears rolled down his face. He didn't wipe them. He sat there watching Cynthia pack her tray and made a decision. He wasn't only going to help this girl. He was going to bring her into their lives. Because if anyone could teach him how to love his daughter again, it was her. Precious was angry. She sat in the mansion kitchen that night, drinking tea, her mind racing. That girl, that poor street girl, why was Lucy Rodriguez so attached to her? Why did Lucy smile for her and not for anyone else? Precious had worked in this house for 6 years. She controlled everything, the meals, the medicine, the schedule, the staff. Even Jaime Rodriguez listened to her when it came to his daughter. She had power here, respect, a good salary, a room inside the mansion. She was more than a nurse. She was important. And now this stranger was threatening everything. What if Jaime Rodriguez brought that girl into the house? What if he decided she was better for Lucy Rodriguez than Precious was? What if Precious lost her place? No, she could not let that happen. She had to act, and fast. The next morning, Precious went to Jaime Rodriguez's office and knocked softly. Come in, he said. She entered with a serious face. Sir, I need to talk to you about something important. He looked up. What is it? It is about Lucy Rodriguez and that girl from the bridge. His expression shifted. What about her? Sir, I took Lucy Rodriguez to see her yesterday. The girl asked me to, but I am worried. Worried about what? Precious sat down, choosing her words carefully. Sir, that girl is very poor. She has nothing. And now she has seen your car. She has seen your daughter. She knows you are a wealthy man. So? Jame asked. So, sir, what if she is using Lucy to get to you? What if she plans to ask for money? Jame Rodriguez stared at her. She fed my daughter. Yes, sir, and that was good. But now she is getting close. Too close. People like that, they know how to use emotions. What if her goal is to gain Lucy Rodriguez's trust so she can get something from you? Jame said nothing, his face unreadable. Precious continued. I am not saying she is bad, sir. I am saying we should be careful. You are a public figure, a rich man. Some people will use your kindness against you. Thank you, Precious, he said quietly. I will think about it. She left the office feeling satisfied. The seed was planted. Now she just had to wait. But planting a seed wasn't enough. She had to make sure the girl stayed away. That afternoon, Precious left the mansion. She told the staff she was going to the pharmacy, but she did not go there. She went to the bridge. She found Cynthia sitting under the shade, fanning herself with a piece of cardboard. Business was slow. Excuse me, Precious said with a cold voice. Cynthia looked up and recognized her. Oh, hello. You are Lucy Rodriguez's nurse. Yes. I need to talk to you. Okay. Precious stepped closer, eyes hard. Stay away from that girl. Cynthia blinked. What? You heard me. Stay away from Lucy Rodriguez. Stop filling her head with your stories. Stop making her think you are her friend. But I am her friend, Cynthia said softly, confused. I care about her. You care about her father's money, Precious said. I know your type. Poor. Desperate. You see a rich man and think you can use his child to get close to him. Cynthia stood up, her face hurt. That's not true. I would never. Save it, Precious cut in. I have worked in that house for 6 years. I will not let some street girl destroy what I have built. If you go near Lucy Rodriguez again, I will make sure her father knows what you are really after. But I am not after anything, Cynthia said, her voice shaking. I just want to be kind to her. She is lonely. She has everything she needs. She does not need you. Precious turned and walked away, leaving Cynthia standing there with a heavy heart. But Precious was not done. That evening, she went to see Cynthia's landlord. She had followed the girl home days ago. She knew where she lived. How much does she owe you? Precious asked. 3 months' rent, the old man said. I have been patient, but I cannot wait forever. Precious brought out a thick envelope. Here. I will pay you double, but I want you to throw her out. Tomorrow. The landlord's eyes widened. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, Precious said. And do not tell her who paid you. He took the money. Consider it done. Precious smiled as she walked back to her car. That girl would be gone soon, and everything would go back to normal. The landlord came early the next morning. Cynthia was still sleeping when the banging on the door shook the room. She jumped up, heart racing. Smith woke too, coughing hard. Who is it? She called. Open this door now, the landlord shouted. She opened it. He stood there with 2 men, his face stiff with anger. You have to leave. Today. What? Cynthia froze. Sir, I told you I would pay by the end of the week. I am working. I am trying. I do not care, he said. You are 3 months behind. I have been patient long enough. Get your things and go. Please, she begged, voice shaking. My brother is sick. Please give me a few more days. I promise I will pay you. No more promises. Out. Now. The 2 men pushed past her and began taking their belongings, the mattress, the stove, even the thin mat she slept on. Stop, she cried. Please, those are ours. Not anymore, the landlord said. You owe me. I am taking what I can. Within 30 minutes, everything was outside. A small bag of clothes, Smith's schoolbooks, the blanket. That was all they had left. Smith sat on the ground coughing, eyes wide with fear. Sister, where will we go? Cynthia had no answer. They spent the first night under the bridge, the same bridge where she sold plantains. She used the blanket to cover Smith and lay beside him on the cold ground, her body shielding him from the wind. Around midnight, rain began to fall. Soft at first, then harder, until it poured. She took off her wrapper and held it over Smith's head, trying to keep him dry, but the rain soaked everything, her clothes, her hair, her skin. Smith's coughing grew worse, his whole body shaking. "I am cold," he said, teeth chattering. "I know, Smith. I know. Just hold on. It will stop soon." But the rain didn't stop. It fell all night. By morning, she was shaking too, her body tired, her spirit broken. She looked at Smith, his eyes red, his breathing rough. He needed medicine. A doctor. Care she couldn't afford. She had nothing. She tried to sell plantains that day, but her hands trembled, her voice was weak, and people walked past her like she didn't exist. By evening, she had sold only 2 pieces. 2 pieces. Not enough for food, medicine, or even hope. That night, she held Smith close under the bridge. His skin burned with fever. "Sister," he whispered, voice thin, "am I going to die?" "No," she said, tears streaming. "No, Smith, you will be fine. I promise." But even she didn't believe her own words. She looked up at the sky, no stars, only clouds. "God," she whispered, "I have tried. I have tried so hard. But I cannot do this anymore. I do not know what else to do. Please, if you are listening, help me. Help my brother. I am begging you." There was no answer. Only the sound of cars rushing by, the cold wind, and the sinking weight of failure. She had always believed that if she worked hard, stayed kind, and never gave up, things would get better. But they didn't get better. They kept getting worse. And now, sitting under a bridge in the rain with her brother burning up in her arms, she felt something she had never felt before. Hopelessness. Lucy Rodriguez had not stopped asking for Cynthia. Every morning she asked, every afternoon and night before bed she asked, "Where is the plantain lady? Why can we not go see her?" Precious always had an answer. "She is busy, she traveled, she does not want visitors right now." But Lucy could feel something was wrong. On the 5th day, she refused to eat. "I want to see her," she said. "Please, just tell me where she is." "Lucy, eat your food." "No, not until you take me to her." Precious's patience snapped. "Stop this nonsense. That woman is not important." "She is important to me," Lucy shouted, tears running down her face. "She is the only one who listens to me, the only one who cares." Jaime Rodriguez heard the shouting from his office and came downstairs quickly. "What is going on?" "Papa," Lucy cried, turning toward his voice. "Please. I want to see the plantain lady. Please take me to her." Jaime looked at Precious. "Why has she not seen her?" "Sir, I thought it was best if—" "I did not ask what you thought was best," he said sharply. "I asked why my daughter has not seen her." Precious's face tightened. "Sir, I was trying to protect her. That girl is trouble. I told you." "Take me to her," Jaime said. "Now." They drove to the bridge. Jaime Rodriguez carried Lucy Rodriguez in his arms while Precious followed behind, silent and angry. But when they reached Cynthia's spot, she was not there. The tray was gone. The stand was empty. "Where is she?" Jaime asked the orange seller. "The plantain girl. I have not seen her in 2 days. I think she is gone." "Gone where?" The man shrugged. "I saw her sleeping under the bridge with a boy. She looked very sick." Jaime Rodriguez's heart dropped. Under the bridge. He walked fast toward the bridge, still holding Lucy. And then he saw them. Cynthia sat on the cold ground, her back against the wall. Smith lay in her lap, covered with a thin, wet blanket. She rocked him slowly, singing softly. Her face was pale, her eyes swollen and red, her clothes dirty and torn. Jaime Rodriguez stopped, stunned. This was the girl who saved his daughter, the girl who fed hungry children, the girl who smiled through her struggles. And now she had nothing left. "Cynthia," he said quietly. She looked up. When she saw him, she tried to stand, but her legs were weak and she nearly fell. He rushed forward and caught her. "What happened to you?" She shook her head, tears falling, unable to speak. A voice came from behind. "Sir." Jaime turned. A woman, another seller, stepped forward. Sir, if I may speak, that nurse of yours, the one who came with you, she did this. Jaime Rodriguez's body went still. What? She came here 5 days ago and warned the girl to stay away from your daughter. Then she went to the landlord and paid him to throw her out. That is a lie. Precious shouted, but her voice trembled. It is not a lie, the woman said firmly. The landlord told me himself. He was boasting about the money. Jaime Rodriguez turned to Precious slowly. His face was stone. Is this true? Sir, I was only trying to protect Lucy Rodriguez. Is this true? Precious opened her mouth, but nothing came out, and that silence was all the answer he needed. You destroyed her life, he said, voice low and dangerous. An innocent girl, someone who did nothing but show kindness. You destroyed her out of jealousy. Sir, please. Get out of my sight. You are fired. I never want to see you again. Sir, I have worked for you for 6 years, and in 5 days you showed me who you really are. Get out. Precious stood trembling for a moment, then turned and walked away. Lucy, still in her father's arms, was crying. Cynthia, she called softly. Cynthia, I am here. Cynthia lifted her head at the sound of the little girl's voice, and for the first time in days, she smiled. Jaime Rodriguez carried Smith to the car himself. The boy was light, too light, and his rough breathing scared everyone who heard it. We are taking him to the hospital, Jaime said, right now. Cynthia tried to stand, but her legs gave out and she fell back down. I cannot pay for a hospital, she whispered, voice breaking. I have no money. I have nothing. Jaime knelt in front of her. You do not need money, he said softly. I will pay for everything. Just let me help you. Please. She looked at him through tears. Why? She whispered. Why would you do this for us? Because you saved my daughter, and because you reminded me what it means to love without expecting anything in return. He helped her to her feet and guided her to the car. Lucy Rodriguez reached out and held Cynthia's hand tightly. You are coming home with us, the little girl said. You are not staying here anymore. At the hospital, the doctors took Smith immediately. They placed him on oxygen, gave him medicine, and said his lungs were badly infected, but he would survive. Cynthia sat in the waiting room, hands shaking, unable to believe help had finally come. Jaime sat beside her. When was the last time you ate? He asked. She did not answer. She couldn't remember. He made a phone call. When food arrived, he placed it in front of her, rice, chicken, vegetables, more than she had seen in weeks. Eat, he said gently. Her hands shook as she picked up the spoon, but she ate slowly, each bite bringing strength back into her tired body. Lucy Rodriguez sat beside her, refusing to let go of her hand. An hour later, the doctor came out. The boy is stable, he said. He needs a few days here, but he will be fine. Cynthia closed her eyes, relief flooding through her. Thank you, God, she whispered. Later that evening, Jaime took Cynthia and Lucy back to the mansion. When Cynthia saw the house, she stopped. Sir, I cannot go in there, she said. I do not belong in a place like this. Why not? He asked. Because I am nobody. I sell plantains. I have no education. I have nothing to offer. Jaime turned to her, eyes steady and kind. You gave my daughter something no one else could. You gave her hope. You made her smile. You made her feel loved. But sir, I have watched you, he said. I saw you give food to hungry children even when you were hungry. I saw you work from morning to night without complaint. I saw you care for your brother when you could barely care for yourself. You think you have nothing to offer. You are wrong. You have everything that matters. Cynthia's eyes filled again. Jaime took a breath. I am going to ask you something, and I want you to think carefully before you answer. What is it? Come live here. Not as a worker. Not as a servant. As Lucy Rodriguez's companion. Teach her about life. Teach her kindness. And teach me how to be a father again. Cynthia stared at him, unable to speak. I will pay for your brother's school, he continued. I will give you a room, a salary, stability. All I ask is that you help me fix what I broke. Help me love my daughter the way she deserves to be loved. Cynthia looked down. Sir, I do not know if I can do that. I am not trained. I do not know how to live in a world like yours. You do not need training, Jaime said softly. You just need to be yourself. That is all Lucy Rodriguez needs. That is all I need. Lucy Rodriguez tugged her hand. Please say yes, she whispered. Please do not leave me. Cynthia looked at the little girl, the girl who reached for her that day under the bridge, the girl who rang the bell every night thinking of her. How could she say no? Okay, she said quietly. I will help you. Lucy Rodriguez threw her arms around her and held her tightly. And for the first time in years, Jaime Rodriguez felt something warm rising in his chest. Hope. 6 months later, everything had changed. The mansion was no longer cold or silent. Now there was laughter, music, and life. Smith had grown stronger. His cheeks were full again and his cough was gone. He went to a good school wearing a clean uniform and carrying new books. Every afternoon he ran through the garden, playing, shouting, being a child again. Cynthia still woke up early, but now instead of frying plantains in a dark room, she woke up in a warm bed. She helped Lucy Rodriguez get ready for the day, told her stories, and described the flowers in the garden, the birds in the trees, the way the morning sun touched their faces. Most importantly, she taught Jaime Rodriguez how to be present. At first, he did not know what to do. He would sit beside Lucy Rodriguez but say nothing. He would hold her hand but pull away too quickly. Talk to her, Cynthia would say softly. Tell her about your day. Ask about hers. She doesn't need expensive gifts. She needs you. Slowly, he learned. He started reading to Lucy Rodriguez every night. He described pictures in the books, answered her questions, laughed at her jokes. One evening, Lucy Rodriguez reached up and touched his face, tracing his cheeks, his nose, his forehead. Papa, she whispered, you are smiling now. I can feel it. Jaime Rodriguez's eyes filled. Yes, he whispered back, I am smiling. She hugged him tight, and this time, he did not let go too soon. Jaime Rodriguez went further. He started a foundation called the Second Chance Foundation. It helped poor families, paid school fees, and gave small business loans to women like Cynthia who were fighting to survive. But Cynthia did not forget where she came from. Twice a week she returned to the bridge. She set up her tray and sold plantains just like before, but now she gave half of them away for free. She sat with the street children, listened to their stories, and gave them hope. Sometimes Lucy Rodriguez came with her. Jaime Rodriguez carried her, and they sat together under the bridge. He watched his daughter hand out food to children, her face glowing with joy. This is where it all started, he said to Cynthia. Yes, she replied. This is where you found me. No, Jaime Rodriguez said, shaking his head gently. This is where you found us. 1 year later, on the anniversary of the day they met, Jaime Rodriguez, Cynthia, Lucy Rodriguez, and Smith stood under the bridge together. People gathered around, the woman who sold oranges, the man with the parrot, the street children, the ones who had watched Cynthia struggle and survive. Jaime Rodriguez spoke. This woman taught me that wealth is not measured by money. It is measured by love. She had nothing, but she gave everything. And because of her, my daughter has her smile back. I have my heart back. We have each other back. Cynthia stood beside him holding Lucy Rodriguez's hand. She looked at the people who had watched her cry, watched her fall, and now watched her rise. She hadn't changed. She was still kind. She was still humble. And that was the greatest lesson of all. True wealth is not what you have, it is who you are. Dear viewers, this story was filled with emotion, choices, and powerful transformation. Tell us, what lessons touched your heart the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. We love reading every one of them. If this story moved you, please tap the like button and give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. And of course, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss any of our new stories. Thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed, and see you in the next episode.